Our state is genuinely lucky to have one of the most magnetic and inspiring personality helming the Science and Technology Department of Gujarat. And today, we are privileged and honored to have one of the dynamic leader and visionary officer from the state government of Gujarat. Ladies and gentlemen, our esteemed chief guest, Shri Vijay Nehra, IAS Secretary, Department of Science and Technology, Government of Gujarat. And now it's his turn to come on the dais and enlighten us with the invaluable thoughts and guidance towards the adoption of deep tech across various business sectors and domains of Gujarat state. So let's welcome him with a thunderous round of applause.
A very good morning to all of you. Dignitaries on the dais, Shri Pranav Bhai, Rucha Nanavati ji, Mr. Patel from SNP, all members, office bearers of GESIA, and all of you present here in the Digital Management Conclave today. It's a interesting, memorable day for me today, and I am really honored to be amongst all of you. I was just recollecting that how time flies by. It's actually more than 10 years after which I have come to Baroda. And it's so near yet so far. I was here as collector and district magistrate of this beautiful district, 3.5 years. That was the longest tenure I had in one place. After that, I never stay in one place for more than 2 years. So it is kind of a lot of interesting, nostalgic moments for me. It's a beautiful city. It's a city which brings the best of tradition and modernity together. So rooted culturally, yet cosmopolitan in its character at the same time. It's a city, a smaller, the right kind of city, I'll say. The cities which are bigger than Baroda have serious problems, and a lot of cities in our country are facing problems of overcrowding, congestion, etc. Having said that, I have been wondering, and it's a problem that my team has prepared, and they always prepare a detailed presentation, but then at the last moment I say that I would just like to speak from my heart, share something. So to that extent, it will be difficult for me to be able to engage your attention since I won't have any PPT here. And then I was wondering yesterday evening that this summit, they have kept a very difficult topic, deep tech. So I don't have any deep knowledge about technology. So I can't speak too much on deep tech, but thank you to both of my fellow speakers that that difficult ball has been hit out of the stadium with and sometimes I think names can be misleading. So SNP, so there's the name poor in SNP, but there is nothing poor about SNP. So similarly, just because my department, the department that I am working with has science and technology, doesn't mean I necessarily become an expert on technology. And with all humility, I believe that just because I work in the government, I get a right to preach about everything to everybody. So it would be blasphemous on my part to speak about technology to everybody in this room because you are the leaders, you are the captains of industry. I'll try to pitch my talk in a slightly different manner. I think I'll try to share with you our understanding of a little bit of what you people are doing. And then in the second part, I'll try to share with you something that government is attempting, more from a point of view of sharing with you where we are so that we can benefit from your advice and suggestions on what course corrections we need to undertake and how do we move forward so that we can work together. And of course, in the concluding part, I'll also try to share some of my thoughts on how we can move forward, how we can collaborate. So first of all, I think I must begin by again sharing my appreciation for what all of you people are doing all over Gujarat specifically and also in Baroda. India's story everybody knows, that India is supposed to be the leader in IT and the leader in software exports. But within India, somehow, I have been in this beautiful state for more than 20 years now, and I have been hearing for the last more than 2 decades that we missed the IT bus. That's about Gujarat. In that difficult scenario, some of you have worked in adverse circumstances when the so-called ecosystems were at other places. All of you people sitting in this room have created companies and worked in a place which was not considered, at least hitherto, at the place to be for IT companies. So hats off to you. Perhaps in the past you may not have had the best support from government, and I would say that you succeeded not because of the government, but perhaps despite the government. And I also strongly feel that the private sector can achieve a lot. The governments don't even need to be big facilitators. We have to, step one, ensure that we don't become roadblocks in your journey in trying to improve and trying to excel, because at the end of the day, it's always the private sector and the spirit of entrepreneurship which drives any society or any economy. Now things are changing, and as all of you are seeing, when we started with this new policy formulation 2 years back, and we studied, and I must thank Pranav Bhai and your entire team for the kind of feedback that you gave us, the suggestions that you gave us, the inputs that came from you, that we could come out with an IT policy that is now being considered as the most liberal, most supportive IT policy, perhaps in the entire world. Nobody gives this kind of financial and non-financial incentives as the new IT policy is giving. And I must, in absentia, thank our Honorable Chief Minister, because he's been the driving force. When we presented this vision to him that we are kind of left behind in this race for having the IT companies and the services economy, and we want to go full throttle, and we want to take a no-holds-barred approach in incentivizing, and we promised him that we'll try to get all of the big MNC companies and the big Indian companies to Gujarat. And I think today I can share with some sense of satisfaction that we have already achieved the initial success which was required us to catapult us to the next stage. So as you know, we have been able to bring IBM to Gujarat. Oracle was already there, expanding. Google has made an announcement which will materialize very soon. Yesterday, Capgemini has moved into Gift City, and we must thank Tech Mahindra for agreeing. Gurnani Saab has been very nice. He has been very supportive that they want to increase their presence in Gujarat. On our part, we are certain that everybody who matters in the IT world will come to Gujarat, because this is the next IT destination. But now we want to embark on something which, to my mind, is more important. Getting the big existing global companies or Indian IT giants to Gujarat was an easier part, a low-hanging fruit. We just addressed all of their concerns on skills, quality of life, all of the infrastructure availability, financial incentives, etc., and they are all coming as they should. The real success for Gujarat would be the day when our homegrown companies, they become the Googles and Microsofts. That will be the real success. We are certain it's not happening today, and it's not happening tomorrow. But if we work together, then it will happen one day. And I keep following Mr. Gurnani, the kind of confidence with which he challenges the global IT companies that we will also do. And I think a couple of days back he has announced some very important initiatives on using generative AI for translation in all of the Indian languages, which can be so important, and it can be so path-breaking because we are perhaps the only country in the world which speaks so many different languages. So I think that is the context. So I will request you that continue to work hard. Don't lowball, think big, and we will be there right beside you to support your whatever efforts to make things happen for you. Within Gujarat, we are all aware about the Gift City project. It's a dream project of the entire country now. 3 years back, people were talking whether it will happen or not happen, if it will happen, when it will happen. But now all of us know that it's fully booked. The government has decided to expand from 800 acres to 3,200 acres. And yesterday I had a good meeting with some of the leading captains of industry in Baroda. And I think this might just be the right time where the focus for the state government should move away from just 1 or 2 cities to several cities. And I think Baroda can be an equally good IT destination. So can be Surat, so can be Rajkot, and so can be our tier 2 towns. What is tier 2 for you is like tier 1 for us, but it's all, as was rightly said, what is deep tech of today is shallow tech of tomorrow. That brings us to a pertinent question, that how do we ensure that technology doesn't become the driver which drives the society? I strongly feel that technology should always remain a tool for human beings to achieve what the society collectively aims to do. That is where I see there is a lot of difference between what technology has to offer and what society needs. On the one hand, we have all of these new concepts. We talk about AI, artificial intelligence and all, but then there are so many simple problems waiting to be solved. We still have large sections of our society who are getting left behind. And you will all agree that as technology progresses, the gap between what I call, earlier it was the haves and have-nots, and now it's the knows and know-nots, the gap is only going to increase exponentially. So that is where the role of a possible collaboration between government and industry is so important. We have to look at the problems that our society faces and then use technology to solve those problems. Because if we have deep tech, we also have big tech. And the problem is, I don't know how many of you have watched the documentary that was a couple of years out on OTT, The Social Dilemma. So there are serious challenges which technology, if not used properly, poses. And while I'm not a supporter of putting any regulations per se, but society collectively has to find a way of moving in the right direction. And to repeat, how can we ensure that we use technology as a tool to address the problem? Your growth can only be incremental. The best way to achieve a quantum jump in your earnings or revenues or in your company's future prospects is to go out and look at what's happening around. I don't know how many of you have visited Gift City. If you have not visited, within few days you should go and visit Gift City. You should know what's happening. So that's the future. If you have not visited Dholera, you should go and visit Dholera. You should see what's happening. If you have not visited Science City, please go and visit Science City. If you have not had meetings with anybody, any one of us in the government, please come and discuss. We are all very open. Governance is changing rapidly. As technology is changing, so is government, and at least in Gujarat, I can assure you that the red tape is a thing of the past. The red tape has long since been replaced with a red carpet. We are still not as good communicators as you are. We are not able to reach out to every one of you, but I strongly feel that every company represented in this room would have some idea, some innovative proposal in which we can work with the government to solve some important problem that society faces, and nothing is to be done as CSR. Because when you work with government or customers, the private sector best works with a profit motive. If anybody says that we should only be doing CSR, that has to be a secondary thing. But look at government as a big client, a big potential source of revenue where you can, because all of our problems in education, in health, in agriculture, just imagine the possibilities are huge, and whenever I think of these possibilities, the only thing that I feel bad about is how come we are not able to solve with the best mind and best companies. There is a spell of heavy rain, and then we go around surveying the fields. So it's physically people who are going and asking people and surveying. Those are neither transparent nor reliable. We can easily use satellite imagery, and we can use some kind of a software, and it's all doable. I mean, when I was with the city government in Ahmedabad, we had this cattle problem. And we thought of every possible problem perhaps as a solution in which technology can be a significant part. We started with the concept of injectable RFID tags. So you just put a tag, and then you know, then whenever you catch the cattle, you know who the owner is. Because it's not the cattle who is at fault, it's the owner. And if we can have a system in which you can target the owner and make him accountable, then things can change. Or for example, those of you, if you would have seen Ahmedabad, you remember the BRTS, and the private vehicles would enter in the BRTS, and there would be security guards standing with ropes. And when I saw that, I told the first thing that this looks so anachronistic, this looks so medieval to me, that there is a person standing with a rope, and whenever the private fellow is coming. So then we had the RFID sensor gates installed. When the bus comes and stops, it gives a signal, the gate opens, and then the bus goes and the gate closes. They're just few examples. Every problem can have a solution if we can use technology, number one, and number two, we can put everybody who is the important stakeholder in the same room. Sometimes you have the solution, I have the problem. Sometimes you have the resources, the manpower to handle that, and somebody in the government has the financial resources to engage that manpower. So the more we work together, the more we collaborate, the greater are the possibilities. Even in deep tech adoption, I would like to share with you, I do not know how many of you are aware, our department is running one of India's leading Industry 4.0 centers of excellence. This is a center which is being funded by Government of India and our state government. It's located in IIT Gandhinagar, and it's being managed by NASSCOM. And at least 100 startups have come out with excellent suggestions and excellent solutions which can really improve industrial automation, Industry 4.0. But again, the big challenge is how do we take this information, take this solution to the industry. In this age of information overload, ensuring that an important piece of information reaches the right kind of people, that has itself become a big challenge. How do you send? It's become so difficult because all the time we are having so many conferences and having so many issues to talk about. So it's become difficult to separate the important from the mundane. So I'll request you again, just to reiterate, please visit Gift City, please visit Science City, please visit Dholera, please visit the Center of Excellence located in IIT Gandhinagar. You want any help, any facilitation, do reach out to us, just drop an email. You need any information about our IT policy, it's all available on the website. To conclude, let's stay engaged. Let's increase our engagement from a one-off conference in 1 year. Let's create a mechanism in which any ideas from you can reach to us. We can have a discussion on that, an iterative kind of a process in which we further fine-tune those ideas, and we can work together on that and find win-win solutions. We are here to help you. From the government of Gujarat, I once again want to thank GESIA, the entire leadership, entire team, for organizing this conference and providing this platform to connect with you. Thank you so much.